Indian Home Minister Amit Shah is on a two-day visit to India's northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, on the face of it, this is a minister launching a new development program in a village in an hitherto remote area in the Indian state. But China sees the visit as creating a new flashpoint. China lays claims to parts of Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. Beijing considers it as southern Tibet and calls it Zangnan. So China does not want any Indian official visiting the area. Now, amid Amit Shah's visit, the Chinese Foreign Ministry issued this statement.
藏南是中国的领土，印方高官赴藏南活动，侵犯了中国领土主权，不利于边境地区的和平安宁，中方对此坚决反对。
Now, India has repeatedly dismissed China's claims to the territory of Arunachal Pradesh. Delivering a speech in the region, Indian Home Minister once again reiterated the same sentiment. No one can question India's territorial integrity, and no one can encroach upon our land.
आज हम गर्व के साथ कहते हैं वो जमाने चले गए जब भारत की भूमि का कोई अतिक्रमण कर सकता था। सौ की सुई की नोक जितनी भूमि का भी अतिक्रमण कोई नहीं कर सकता।
The Home Minister launched Vibrant Villages program from the border village of Kibito. Now, last week, China renamed some places in the region, advancing its claims to the territory. India criticized the move, saying that China giving its own inventive names will not change ground realities. These are indeed Indian sovereign lands. Chinese maps show Arunachal Pradesh as part of China. The dispute arises from a colonial era Simla Convention of 1914. It drew the McMahon Line as a border between India and China in the east. The Chinese Communist government does not respect the line or the convention and continues to make arbitrary territorial claims. For more on this, we are being joined by Brahma Chalini. He is a professor of strategic studies at Center for Policy Research. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
So, India's Home Minister standing in Arunachal Pradesh within a week of China's third attempt at renaming Indian territories. What kind of message does this send to China?
Well, first, no country, not even Pakistan, recognizes China's claim to Arunachal Pradesh. It's an absurd claim. Since ancient times, the Himalayas have universally been regarded as the northern frontier of India. But now China is laying claims to territories far south of the Himalayas. And look at the bigger irony. First, by inventing the name South Tibet for Arunachal Pradesh, the People's Republic of China underlines the core issue in its ties with India. The core issue is the Chinese occupation of Tibet. By occupying Tibet, China imposed itself as India's neighbor. It was not geography that made China India's neighbor. It was the use of guns that made China India's neighbor. But there's a flip side to this. While China insists that the Indian state is South Tibet, India still recognizes Tibet to be an integral part of China. So India needs to shift its policy in a nuanced manner, in a gradual manner, because saying that Tibet is part of China, an integral part of China, only helps bolster China's rolling annexation. It first occupies Tibet, and then it lays claims to Indian territories.
Mr. Chalani, the Vibrant Villages program, which has been launched from the border village just 11 kilometers from the LAC, is this only an initiative, or does it also represent India's stance towards China?
Well, the activities of China are serving as a wake-up call for India. For the last 6 years or so, China has been on a frenzied build-up of frontier villages. This village building frenzy began with Xi Jinping calling upon Tibetan herdsmen to settle in frontier villages and become the guardians of Chinese territory. But the people that China is settling in these border villages are not Tibetan herdsmen or ordinary villagers. The majority are Chinese militiamen or paramilitary men. In other words, these are militarized villages. They are going to play a very important role in China's expansionism. So India now deciding to repay China in kind by setting up border villages is a good step, because the fact is that why should either village building in the frontier areas or salami slicing be the prerogative of only one side? But India has to ensure that those it settles in these border villages are not just ordinary villages, because then these border villages will not play an important role in the defense of India. India needs to do actually more. India needs to create local scout forces. We like the way we have the Ladakh scouts. Yes. We should have sons of soil in these local scouts serving as the first line of defense.
So, has China left any scope of diplomacy between the two nations?
The irony is that on one hand, China says that China-India should have a good relationship, that China-India equation is so important for the world and for international security. On the other hand, it continues to provoke India and engage in incremental expansionism. So this kind of double talk is something that India has become accustomed to, because this is nothing new. Since the 1950s, China has been taking one line in public and doing the opposite in terms of its actions. So India has to take a long-term view of China. This is an expansionist power that is seeking to impose its will on its neighbors. It's trying to present India a fait accompli by occupying Indian areas, for example, in Ladakh, as it did in April 2020, the result of which is that China and India are still locked in military standoffs for the past 35 months. I think Xi Jinping did not anticipate that India will stand up to China militarily the way India has done. In fact, by locking horns with China for the last 35 months, India has challenged Chinese power in a way that no other country, not even the United States, has done in this century.
Thank you for joining.
So it was a miscalculation on Xi Jinping's part that he could actually do these land grabs and expect India to take it lying down.
Clearly, China did not see this kind of response coming in from India. Thank you for all those updates, sir. Thank you, Mr. Brahmachalani.